Okay, we're live. Hi, Darlene.
Good morning, Shelley.
How are you doing today?
I am quite lovely. I just shared, today was the day I decided to upload my book into KDP so I can order my proof. So it's been holding in that world on hold for quite a bit. And it's time to release to the world my thing. My
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
I'm so excited for you because so we've known each other for probably like 10 months, 12, 10, 11 months now. I think we met last September. And so every time I read, like, so this particular essay was the reason why we decided to come together, that this last
Yeah.
essay that you wrote, which is also part of your book. And so all about collaboration is not networking, this essay that you wrote. So what I loved about it was, and this is also like part of your book, right? Like that
Yes.
we are here to it's a new way of being in the world. So maybe you can tell me a little bit more about it, and then I'd love to respond.
Fabulous. Thank you for having me, first of all. And yes, this is the first of the articles that got released to the world. I have a whole bunch of others already written, but they are all in preparation for my book to be coming out very shortly. Um, so I have some big beliefs because I've been an online spiritual neurospicy entrepreneur, spiritually driven for more than 10 years actively, but I think that was always part of my soul. So entrepreneurship has always been how my calling unfolds, and being an author and things like that. Um,
Mhm.
but what I discovered most about the online world that you were a part of, and when it merges or goes up against the glass, I like to say it goes up against the glass. It's like there's a window between all the other entrepreneurs and us on this side of the glass that have this big spiritual calling. And for me, a big part of it, I know a lot of your listeners and readers relate to how you write and what your book is going to be about, which is the motherhood as the journey to spirituality. And that was a big part for me. And my next thing really was this entrepreneurship. So if we come back to what I discovered in these 10 years and working with other spirit led, purpose driven, usually neurospicy people, is that the entrepreneurship model, the traditional one, the one that grew up under all the success and all um, the standards by which we're basing success, didn't apply to me.
Mhm.
And I shifted my life 5 years ago on an intuition and instinct that it doesn't apply to all the people like me. So the last 5 years has been about looking for patterns. And I call it kind of the matriarchy uh, entrepreneurship, right? The divine feminine entrepreneurship. It's not that the other entrepreneurship is bad, it's that it doesn't work for us. And if we get
Right.
down to that thing that for us, collaboration is a huge core because we're
Yeah.
not in it for individual success. We
Right.
are we're in it for individual growth and collaborative, like the world success. And
Yes.
how you do it changes because that is knowing that there's a different destination, knowing that there's a different alignment available to us. And that
Right.
was so important. We don't have any role models out there right now. All for
No.
me, the spiritual entrepreneurs are still finding success under this other entrepreneurial model. And
Mhm.
I wanted something different, and
Yeah.
I think I've achieved it. Is the
Yeah. 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 I love that. I mean, you said so much good things there that I can really relate to because it's like I've been avoiding being a solopreneur, a soulpreneur. Like I know that I want to embody a lot of the things that you have talked about. I've worked in the divine masculine for many years, and it is a very individualistic, approach of setting up like structures and systems and tools, and I see a lot of women, embodying that with their offerings. And for me, when I've tried to do that, it's felt really against my natural joy. And so it felt
yeah,
like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm begging people to come and, hang out with me because I have so much I want to share. And I've created mindfulness writing programs, infusing the Enneagram, like inviting people to come along with me on this self-discovery journey that really does help. Um, it's not an individualistic thing. And so we might have to, work. So anyway, so going back to what I have always been trying to achieve is that nobody, I have to beg people to show up. And so I
yeah,
was just like, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm not going to be in this fear mindset of like, oh, I really pray that people show up so that I can earn money. But it's really about, I just want
yeah,
people to show up because they want to be there and they believe in themselves, and
yeah,
that I'm just here to be a guide. I'm not here to sell systems, to sell tools, I'm just here to offer my heart and my soul of what I know to be true and invite people to come on the journey. And that's where it's really different, right? Because that's where it's different. It's
yeah.
that we're inviting people to come on a journey, not to say like, hey, you do these things and you will achieve da da da
Yeah,
da.
that is the transactional nature that we've been taught. And if I can go back to the collaborative, so I
Yeah.
believe that this new model, the divine feminine entrepreneurship, I believe it is hugely successful with money. So yeah, let's just get that out of the way. It's
Okay,
we
good.
are
Yes.
in business. We want to sustain ourselves through this calling that we have. So we'll do that. I want to bring in again motherhood and archetypes before I get back into the transactional.
Yeah.
Nicole and I were discussing yesterday, just anticipating for you and I to talk this morning, and I
Mhm.
had a full download on archetypes yesterday. And what I realize is that even the archetypes, our standard archetypes, which your book is a lot about, that you're looking into that, um, as they have been used right now under this last model. And like I said, I believe we are entering a new model, a new way of consciousness and stuff. So if we look at motherhood or the maiden, all the classic archetypes, even motherhood, and this is huge, motherhood, and it's a challenge that you're trying to break, is motherhood was designed to be collaborative. And
Mhm.
under this last model, we're experiencing it individual, like as an
Yes.
individual. So it
Yes.
applies to everything spiritual for me. It is not even unique to entrepreneurship, but that transactional nature. I always say there's a triangle. So if I can just talk about business,
Yeah.
and what was the moment when I stopped having a problem selling, was recognizing that my world, or this divine feminine successful entrepreneurship, exists as a triangle, not linear, not as a
Right.
transaction, right? You give
Right.
me this, I give you that. I promise, I prove. All that energy doesn't work. So it's spirit on top, me in one corner, and the person I'm helping is in the
Hmm.
other corner. And
Hmm.
when it is working, that energy is exchanged. Everybody is getting a benefit, like
Exactly.
everybody.
Exactly.
And spirit is getting the collaborative nature of our vibration, our frequency, our work is growing where it's supposed to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that that model and that vision for the mother archetype because it's true. It's we, mothers suffer in isolation. They have a whole rebirth. Like I often talk about how I write about how the mother when the mother gives birth, there's a death of her identity of who she was
Yeah,
before, and there's also a birth of a new human being. And so it's like this, and we never talk about that, and we never talk about the loss of motherhood. It's our society has set it up for like all the gains. And
yeah,
so what I like to discover and to excavate is undoing that mother archetype so that we can remember the truth of who we are, that we are, like, we know our child is a divine being, filled with, so much love, like filling them up with love. And in order for us to achieve this circle that you have, I think there has to be some individualistic work to reconnect to the divine that's
yes,
within, because the worthiness that is chipped away from mothers, because we have to show up in the world in a way that is achieving and succeeding and modeling what the individualistic society wants us to show up as. And so I just love how, once and that's the work that I'm trying to excavate and write about is that we have to, get away from all of those archetypes so that we can remember the truth of who we are. And we're allowed to be individualistic because when we remember, then we can collaborate with spirit and with the divine, and then we're just emitting light, so then your circle that you described really comes together.
absolutely. And that's where the difference is not as an individual, but as a contributor. And this
Right.
idea that we're alone. So this is where
Yeah.
my other two businesses overlap with the motherhood because I understood all this in motherhood,
Yeah.
and then I followed my calling to write my own book and then to now help others write their own book. But the same as you described in motherhood, the big wound for me is we've been told, and we have to accept when it comes back to my book, is we've been told that this is a individual, it's
Right.
alone. And that's where I want to challenge that the way we do it as soulpreneurs, or authors, soul driven, it are we can't do that alone. But the individual journey is we are giving death to our old identity to
Yes.
create this new thing. So we're giving birth to a business and we're giving birth to a book. And
Right.
it really is so parallel with everything that you do because there has to be an individual understanding of what's being transformed so that collectively, through collaboration and as a contributor, we do
Hmm.
not have to be all pieces and all parts. And in fact, we cannot achieve success with trying to do it alone. I am
Right.
convinced of that.
Yeah.
The cost is our soul, the cost is alignment, the cost is it's too much for us. And my experience shows that most people disengage. They
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you just look at anybody's book and seeing the acknowledgments of what it takes to just get a book out there, it's
Yeah,
tremendous. I mean, pages and pages. It takes a village to get a book out in the world, and so it's probably why there's so many. Authors get that. No matter if you're male or female, it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
We get that. So tell me, what can you expand on? So the title of the article that I just love everyone should read is collaboration is not working. So what does that exactly mean? I mean, you've been kind of saying it, but like we have to network to collaborate. So to find the right
Yeah.
people to help us on this vision.
Yeah, so I, by nature, and like you, Shelley, like we have an affinity for each other because we actually function well in our
Hmm.
divine masculine, and we're able to manage our energy and frequency around the traditional structures that exist, like networking.
Right.
But networking is transactional for me. It
Hmm.
really is transactional. We're going to an event. These people want something. We want something. We're trying to make connections, right? To individually move ourselves ahead. Whereas collaboration is showing up and finding your people. It's attracting the people that are naturally drawn to you. And
Right.
so it's not forcing by going to an event and kind of pitching yourself, talking like asking questions, blah, 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 blah. And it's so energy draining. So collaboration is more like what I did, where you share your ideas and the people that you are meant to collaborate with you find you. So after you've been found, then you create a connection. So
Yes.
it's like that. I don't know if that's clear
Yeah,
enough, but
it
yeah.
feels like the intention behind it is different,
Yeah.
and being open not to work with somebody to achieve something, but to spawn new ideas and dreams and hopes, as opposed to like, oh, I'm networking, can you introduce me to somebody? Like to that
Exactly.
transaction.
Like it's
Yeah.
networking is everybody coming together to move each other forward.
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
collaboration is everybody coming together to move spirit forward.
Beautiful. That's perfect. And I
Yep.
just want to read a comment from Tony. Hi, Tony. He's someone that lives locally to me. And so he wrote, for writers and artists, we get these archetypes of Robert Frost going into the woods alone to try to write successfully. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not, because the transformation, not only of the thought or the book that's meant to come into the world, requires the author have their own transformation. The same way as the motherhood, if we go back to that, the day you give birth, you are always becoming the mother, right? You have to reinvent the person you are for
Right.
every stage of that child's development, for every stage, like for each individual child and their needs. And yeah, to think that you're trying to control everything, like the person who has the idea to write the book creates this output of a book.
Right.
Like it's not an output. It is the same way motherhood, writing, and entrepreneurship are all meant for the individual's growth. It is
Yes.
for our individual growth. And if we're focused on the output, we've missed. And individual growth for me only happens in collaboration, right? Yeah, like if we're in charge with our own thoughts and we're not we're not inviting in spirit. We're not
Right.
naturally attracting. Like we need to be speaking about our truth in the moment, not when we're sure of it, but in the moment we're having those truths, and allow that energy to be in the world.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I think back to the early days of my own motherhood and how I really it just it felt like high school again, and I only found like one woman who, a dear friend who's still my friend, how we would say, we would say the things behind closed doors, like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I remember, just like everybody's so insecure again for some reason when we first have children. And, but I think that it's when we contribute it to having a book, contributing with the book, we still need that, like you said, it is a divine orchestration that's within us, that it's like this birth. It is a birth, and both men and women have this. I mean,
Oh
men,
yeah.
when we're talking about the divine feminine, we're talking about that. We know that, and people might not understand this, it's not about women. The divine feminine and the divine masculine are in all of us. I just that it's like it's part of the whole, and we can't have one without the other. We were born this way. So
Exactly. And if I'll bring it back to the for me, the divine feminine is I had to work really hard on that part of me. And letting people in because I was so good in
yeah,
my divine masculine, was
yeah,
really good in my divine
survival.
masculine.
Yeah,
But here's the thing is, and my book is called The Four Soulpreneur Agreements because I want people to know there is the other way. We get to follow the path that we feel aligned with, whatever
mhm,
the same way I had to learn about my divine feminine, most of the people I work with need help in their divine masculine.
yeah,
Most of the people I
exactly.
work with. And and that's the thing, we're not constructed. uh we are not constructed when we're given these divine callings or purpose. The purpose is for us to become the
Right.
that thing. Like, it's we're not supposed to be that thing to start with. We're becoming, and then we can agree, either we agree that motherhood is a solo adventure, or we change the agreement and say, hey, I want to do this
Yeah.
with people, right? Like,
Right.
these are not rules.
Yeah.
They're only
Exactly.
rules if you accept them as rules. You have to be in agreement that that's the way. And I really want people to challenge that. I want people like you, Shelley, and many of the people you talk to is be a contributor. Like, talk about this other way, not the hierarchy way, but the
Yes.
the circle way, the collaborative way, so people don't feel alone anymore. So the contributions are coming fast and furious, and know that you can be in agreement with being a contributor and not have to be a solo.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
just put the quote from your article in the chat. That's why collaboration regulates the nervous system. You stop scanning for comparison. No more
Yeah.
organizing your life around proving your value. You no longer treat every interaction like survival. So, yeah, that's beautiful.
And it was huge for me when I made a new agreement with myself that I was not doing this like a transaction. Like, I
Yeah.
stopped being a transactional entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
it changed everything.
Yeah, it's so much trust. I mean, you really have to have so much trust in just, I'm just going to put it out there. Like I decided I'm not going to say, okay, I love teaching about mindfulness. I love
Yeah,
guiding people and meditation. And if I say, hey, I'm going to put up my flag and I say, hey, I'm going to hold Friday mornings every week at 9 a.m., we're going to meditate together. People
yeah,
won't, I just know people won't show up. I've done it, I've tried it.
yeah,
So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just doing it anyway. I'm recording it
Seriously.
so that people can show up when they want. And so it comes out this Sunday. My first, little Dharma talk with a little meditation and saying, here's why you should do it. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. But, I think everyone should, just try. And because the thing that I saw in the 3 years that I taught in person locally,
Yeah.
so I taught at like a spa resort locally for 3 years. And so I would have new people every day that I would
Yeah.
teach. And the consensus across the board was, I know I should meditate. I always feel better after I meditate.
Yeah.
And yet I don't do it. And so I really know that it's like, how can we I can't get people to commit to themselves. I want them to commit to themselves, but they have to be ready. And I think that the circumstances for people to be ready to take that care for themselves, sometimes sadly it has to be extenuating. And you have to realize, like, something will jolt you into,
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I better get real with myself now. And so that's why I think life happens for us, not to us, to make us remember.
Absolutely. Yeah, to make us remember, for sure, remember who we are, our essence. Uh, yeah, well, you know my position on this. I think you're an amazing giver, but it's the concept of consistency. And thank you for sharing this article and this idea, but I would love all kinds of people to pick up the idea and run with it, because I think fundamentally I deal with a lot of limiting beliefs. If you're writing your book, you have to like you look at yourself in a new way. But the limiting belief of this article is our life is not transactional. So yes, we need a reason to be ready, but we've agreed that we're supposed to do this alone. Like,
Yeah,
that's why I want people to change that agreement with yourself. No, you're not supposed to meditate on your own.
right,
What if the way
right.
you navigate life is always in collaboration with a mentor, with someone who's guiding the way, with a circle of people. I always visualize it as a circle, but you see versions of yourself before, so you can be the mentor, and then you're also in transformation, and they're in transformation, and the crone is giving the wisdom, and the person who's good at this brings that. Imagine
I know it.
we do not know how to be held.
Mhm.
We just going, well, I'm going to force this to happen, right? We
Right,
know we want it. And that is so delicious for me. Like we've been told we know this is here, but we don't trust it. And you said that we do not trust it. And even it goes back the way a matriarchal society is, everyone assumes or is in agreement that we would never leave a mother alone. And
yes,
this is it, like spiritual growth, we cannot
do it
be
alone.
alone. We're not supposed to be
No,
alone.
no. I
It's
mean, you basically just, shared the Buddhist tenets of the three
yeah,
jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, right? Like, so we
yeah,
need the guide, the Buddha or the divine or whatever.
yeah,
It's so interesting because, Buddhism doesn't talk about the divine one because they believe the divine one is within. But
yeah,
in any case, it's all the same. So Buddha, we have the guide, the Dharma, which is all the teachings and the discussion, the teachings and the learnings from the texts, and you can apply that to any religion, path, and then the sangha, which is the community. Like, you can't do it when I go on Sunday mornings to sit in community, there's this energy that, like, okay, we're getting back and connecting to our wholesome goodness that's inherently within, and remembering humanity. Because if we're like by ourselves, like, we're all having these human emotions, like, we all are having doubt, we're all having fear, we're all having, all these intricate, like talk, the self-talk that is just so
Yeah.
common. It and makes us all the same. And so when we realize that we're in this humanity together, we can have more compassion for each other and more kindness, and this language that comes up for each other that is just so, it's safe. It becomes safe because
Yeah.
there's safety in having that commonality and remembering. And it's we don't when we go into a networking meeting, we're not thinking about the commonality that we have.
No,
So
no, it's a lot of individuals in the same room. That is not the same, for
right,
me. It's really not the same. And it's we don't know, like, most of us do not know how to be in community
right,
anymore, and we don't know how to trust it because
right.
we're putting out the energy. So when people show up to your meditation class, they will acknowledge all the things. So that was amazing, da da da. But they go back to, but what did I give? Right? Like, we are raised uh
Give to
to do
receive.
that exchange,
Yeah,
right? They don't know how to just receive as a
right.
part of collaboration, that the seasons of who we are. And we have all this energy of the output, right? What's my output?
Yeah.
And for me, that's, I would love people to come and experience, whether in silence or letting people, it's like, hey, Shelley, I listened to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Being in your community means something to
It
me.
does. Yeah.
Um, like, all of that is not because of what you're doing, but because people don't know how to receive consistently. They will get up the courage to show up one time,
Mhm.
but they don't know how to do this. And I think that is what's changing. For me, that's the new consciousness. That's the world is shifting spiritually, so people know they are not alone, that it is okay to be held, that we don't have to be all things to all people.
Right.
We get to discover within ourselves how we are meant to contribute.
Yeah.
Not all the ways. We are not responsible for everything. Like, that's a loaded word, responsibility, but we really aren't. We're responsible to our own purpose, not someone else's purpose.
Exactly. That's so beautiful. And that's a great place to pause. And I put in the chat that so everyone should know that Darlene works with this wonderful woman, Nicole, and they run the Authors Collaborative. And I've been working with them for the last 9 months on my book, and it's been tremendous. So I've really enjoyed getting to know you and being aligned. Like, we were definitely divinely orchestrated to meet.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's been
Yeah.
really
And it took me a while to trust that, but it's
Mhm.
been 18 months that Nicole and I just, we threw our hands up like, isn't this amazing?
Yeah,
Because all are aligned people. Like, we do not get anyone unaligned anymore. We do not convince anyone
yeah.
anymore.
That's it.
And it's so
That's
powerful.
it. I know it. It's like, I'm not going to convince. I would love whoever is listening. Just what I just want people to watch my video and collaborate. So let's end on
Yeah,
collaboration as the path, and everyone wins, and everyone can show up in their true selves to in their wholesome goodness, so that we can all make a better world.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for all you do, Shelley.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.